So this is the another lecture of your haploid plant production, that is pollen culture and your anther culture and your culture of ovule and ovary. So normally now I'm going to discuss with you about the uh, diploidization of haploid plants. So what does diploidation of haploid plant means? As the plants are haploid in nature, so we will try to uh, double their chromosomes by induction of some chemicals. So haploid plants are normally diploidized. They are making diploidize as a result of making them into a homozygous plants that have the same mother phenotypic features, mother plant phenotypic features. And haploid plants are obtained by androgenesis and gynogenesis that I have already discussed. These plants may grow up into flowering stage. Okay, if you culture this haploid plant through androgenesis or by gynogenesis, by using the explant as your pollen grains, by using the explant in the form of your ovule, you can generate into a whole new plant or plantlets. These plants will further grow up into a flowering plant, but viable gametes will not be formed. As you know, they are haploid. So that's why, as they lack a set of homologous chromosomes, so we will not get viable gametes from these haploid plants. So consequently, there will be no seed formation. You know, homologous chromosome, all chromosome found in pairs. Okay, like chromosome number 1 has a pair, chromosome number 2 has a pair, and so on. We have, just like humans have 23 sets of chromosome. Okay, so just like that, plant are also having deep homologous chromosomes, but as haploid plant have only your n number of chromosomes. That's why during the stage of gamete formation, they will be not able to produce viable gametes due to lack of a set of homologous chromosome. So how you can solve the problem? We can solve the problem if we can able to make that n set of chromosome into 2n. If we can make that n set of chromosome into 2n by induction of certain chemicals like colchicine. Okay, colchicine is famously used. Okay, other chemicals can also be used, like for instance we can use your nitrous oxide also, right, to induce diploidization. That means we are actually, what we are doing, we are doubling the chromosomes found in the cell. Okay, so and ultimately our main aim is to produce homozygous plants. Haploid can be diploidized by duplication of the chromosomes to produce homozygous plant, and there are mainly two approaches for this diploidization. One is by using colchicine treatment. So by using the colchicine treatment, um, we can able to induce that chromosome in duplication, or better to say, we can induce diploidization. So one is your colchicine treatment and another one is by endomitosis that are written here. So let us see about the colchicine treatment. Colchicine is very widely used chemical for diploidization of homologous chromosome, and normally it is an inhibitor for spindle formation during mitosis and induces chromosome duplication. So suppose if this is the cell, and during certain stage like metaphase stage, and if if these are the chromosomes which are on the equator region, okay, and all these chromosomes are actually attached by the spindle arise from the centromere, okay. This spindle fiber will then try to migrate the chromosomes to the opposite poles so that to produce two daughter cell, okay, to produce two daughter cell having similar amount of genetic material, okay. But in your by using this colchicine, we are trying to disrupt this spindle fiber formation, we are trying to disrupt this spindle fiber formation, so the chromosome does not migrate to the opposite pole and they remain as diploid cell within, and they will not divide at all, they will not go through cytokinesis also, that is occurring at the last of cell cycle to pinch off the parent cell into two daughter cells. They will try to inhibit that, and thus the cell will contain the chromosome, they will contain the diploid chromosome number. So it is an inhibitor, it induces chromosome duplication, and it is an this colchicine is an inhibitor of your spindle fiber. Now, normally how the plants are treated with colchicine, that we have to know actually. So it is saying that number one, here it is written, let us see, when the plants are mature, colchicine in the form of a paste is applied to the axil of the leaves. So the axil of the leaves, there we will apply colchicine. So normally if this is the leaf, this part is your axil, okay, this part is your axil. So on this axil of the leaves we are trying to use the colchicine in the form of a paste, and now the main axis is decapitated. Decapitated means the main axis will be removed out, and when we are separating the main axis from the axil of the leaves, it stimulates the axillary buds to grow into a diploid and fertile branches. So simple thing, one of the technique to use colchicine for chromosome diploidization, for chromosome duplication, is when the plants mature, we will apply colchicine in the form of a paste and apply to the axil of the leaves. Now the main axis is decapitated, that means we will separate the main axis from the axil of the leaves. By that time when we are separating the main axis from the axil of the leaves, it stimulates the axillary buds, the buds which grow on the nodal segment, okay, they will grow into diploid and fertile branches occurs. Second way of using the colchicine is young plantlets are directly treated with colchicine solution. So when we have grown in tissue culture laboratory, when we have grown the young plantlets, then we directly expose that plantlets into the colchicine solution at a proper concentration, obviously, wash thoroughly and replanted again. This will result in homozygous plants. Now colchicine will enter to the pores of the cell through the help of cell membrane channels, and through which it will try to induce the chromosome duplication, inhibits the spindle fiber formation. There is also a third way of treatment of colchicine. The axillary buds repeatedly treated with colchicine cotton wool. That means cotton wool soaked with colchicine for about 2 to 3 weeks. So these are the three ways practically through which we can induce chromosome duplication for chromosome diploidization for making a homozygous cell line with the help of, from the haploid plants. Second way is endomitosis. As the name suggests, endo means inside, mitosis. Endomitosis is the phenomenon of doubling of the number of chromosomes but without any division of the nucleus. So simply endomitosis means doubling of the chromosomes without division of the nucleus. The haploid cells are unstable in culture and they have a tendency to undergo endomitosis. So all the haploid cells that we obtain from the haploid culture, they are very unstable in the culture medium and they have a tendency to undergo this type of endomitosis, that is doubling of the chromosome without any division of the nucleus. This property of haploid cell is exploited for diploidization to produce homozygous plant. Now, what is the procedure for endomitosis that has been stated here? So, look at this portion. So, what it is saying, the procedure involves growing a small segment of haploid plant stem with a suitable medium supplemented with the growth regulators. All the phytohormones with suitable concentration is supplemented. So, a small segment of the haploid plant stem is taken in a suitable medium, which is culture medium, which is supplemented with growth regulators like auxin and cytokinin. This induces callus formation followed by differentiation. Okay, so a suitable concentration of auxin and cytokinin is used for inducing that haploid haploid plant stem into callus by differentiation technique. Now, during the growth of callus, chromosome doubling can occur by endomitosis, that is division of the doubling of the chromosome without any division of the nucleus. So, during callus formation, during the growth of the callus, chromosome doubling occurs by endomitosis, and this results in the production of diploid homozygous cells and ultimately into homozygous plants. So very well we can make homozygous lines, homozygous cell lines, which are of very importance. Okay, to maintain that purity of the gametes, to maintain the purity of the mother plant into the daughters, into the from to the daughter plant, right? Now let us see the advantages of haploid plant production, or you can say the application of haploid plant production. So in vitro production of haploid is of great importance in plant breeding programs. Let us see. First, we are keen in important for development of homozygous line. So we are maintaining the homozygous line. That's why we have treated the haploid plant with colchicine, with by endomitosis technique. So it is saying that it is now possible to develop homozygous line within a span of few months or year by employing the anther or pollen culture. This is in contrast with the conventional plant breeding program that might take several years. So if you want to develop homozygous plants having that, to maintain that purity of the genes obtained from the mother plant, if you want to go for in vivo technique for homozygous, for development of homozygous line in the plants, it will take about several years, because we have to do self pollination, generations after generation we have to do self pollination, we have to stop the cross pollination also, so that we have to maintain that homozygosity within the same plant, and for this it might take 6 to 10 years to do so. Now Mendel have tried, Gregor Mendel, who is the father of genetics that we know, he have tried to develop that homozygous line in pea plant, because the lifespan of pea is short. It grows in winter season, that we know. But what about the other plants? How you can maintain the homozygosity in other plants? Like for example banyan tree, like for example banana plant. It will take several years if you go for the conventional plant breeding program that has been done by Mendel previously in case of pea plant. So with the help of your in vitro tissue culture technique, within a few months we can by the help of anther and pollen culture, we can maintain that homozygous line within a span of few months or maximum a year or so. In this way, production of haploid is highly useful for research purpose related to plant genetics and breeding. Second is generation of exclusive male plants. So by the process of androgenesis, we can produce the haploids, okay, following by chromosome doubling. And it is possible to develop exclusively male plants. The male plants are useful when their productivity and applications are much more than female plants. So why we are interested in making male plants? It is due to the in case of if the productivity of the male plants are much more, if the applications of the male plant are much more in research in commercial purpose, then we are interested in production of the male plants. So by the process of androgenesis we will produce the haploids, and following haploids we will produce homozygous lines. We will do chromosome doubling, we will maintain that homozygous lines, and thus we can develop exclusive male plants, which are very useful in case of if the productivity of the male plants is quite higher and applications are quite higher than the female plants. That's why androgenesis is done first, then it is followed by gynogenesis. If if there is a problem in the male parent, in the male part of the plant, suppose they do not able to produce viable gametes, pollen grains, then only we go for gynogenesis. Second is induction of mutation. Now induction of mutation is known as mutagenesis. Mutagenesis. Mutagenesis means we will induce mutation. We will induce mutation. We will induce mutation to the plants, to the genome of the plants. Why? Maybe that mutation we know change in the base pair of the DNA content. So by changing the base pair of the DNA content, we may able to introduce some new characteristic or maybe some beneficial trait to that plant. So in general, majority of the induced mutations are recessive, and therefore they are not expressed in diploid cell due to the presence of dominant allele. Now most of the case, the mutations that are being induced with the help of ultraviolet light, with the help of chemicals called as mutagens. So with the help of those chemicals called mutagens, or by using the UV radiations or X-rays, we can induce mutation, okay, in plant, but most of that mutations are recessive. Most of those mutations are recessive. What does it mean? It always mean that if this is recessive, as we have studied in genetics, that dominant gene, if a gene is dominant, if a gene is dominant, it always express first, if then recessive. Suppose there is a pea plant that has been proposed by Mendel. Suppose the T represents the character for tallness, okay, and T is the allele for that particular tallness character. Small t is the allele which denotes the character for dwarfness. Dwarfness means short plant. So the if if there is small t and capital T both found on the same chromosome at the same locus on the plant, then as capital T or the allele for the tallness is present, it will express its tallness character. So this capital T is called as dominant gene or dominant allele, while small t is known as the recessive allele. What is allele? Allele are the different versions of the same gene. Different versions of the same gene. like for example eye color. Okay, for eye color there is must be some gene responsible for it, right? Now all of us don't have the same eye color. Somebody have black eye color, somebody have blue eye color, somebody have brown eye color, right? So depend on what type of gene combination is present, that will determine the eye color. So the different variations of the same gene is known as allele. For easiness I am trying to say you in case of computer. Now we have operating system, right? We have Windows operating system. Now Windows 8, Windows Vista, Windows XP, Windows 2021, okay, Windows 2010, sorry, Windows 2010 Home, all are what? OS, operating system, but all are the different versions of that same operating system in the same way. So, so here it is, that's why I have said allele, okay. So for clarity I have said the definition of allele here. So here it is saying that most of the mutations that we are trying to induce into the plant are recessive. Most of the mutations that we are trying to induce into the plant are recessive and will not be expressed in the diploid cell due to the presence of this dominant allele, which is a wild type allele. If dominant allele is present, then recessive allele will not be expressed. So our desire to express that plant having that mutation, we have induced the mutation, will be not in use unless the dominant allele is removed from it. So as haploid plant, they have only one set of chromosome. Now as haploid plant have only one set of chromosome, it will provide that convenient system for induction of mutations and selection of mutants of desirable traits. Now haploid plant has only one set of chromosome, not two set of chromosome. Now by inducing mutation in the haploid plants, what will happen? There is no other set of chromosome, okay. For suppose chromosome number 1 in haploid plant have only one set, not two set, because we have removed that set. We have only one set of chromosome, right? We have only one set of chromosome. Now if we try to induce some mutation in this site, suppose in this site in chromosome number 1 we have induced mutation, we have changed in the base pair of the sequence, so that will automatically getting expressed because there is no such homologous chromosome which will try to dominate that mutated part. That's why haploid plants are also important for induction of mutations, because they have only one set of chromosome, and if that only one set of chromosomes are mutated, obviously it has to be expressed. Although mutation are induced mutations are recessive, सब mutations recessive होता है, लेकिन यहाँ पे कोई डोमिनेंट जीन तो है नहीं क्योंकि एक ही सेट है, उसी एक ही सेट ऑफ क्रोमोसोम्स में हम लोग म्यूटेशन कर रहे हैं. So obviously it has to be expressed, and thus by inducing mutations we can select the mutants having some desirable characters, having some desirable traits मतलब characters. In fact, haploid cells can be cultured and handled in a fashion similar to microorganisms. Okay. अब क्या क्या फीचर हम लोग यहाँ से निकाल सकते हैं by inducing mutations, like we can produce some plant which are resistant to antibiotics, which are resistant to toxins, which are resistant to herbicides that has been developed. So mutants from several plant species which are resistant to antibiotics, which are resistant to toxins, which are resistant to herbicides have been developed. सिर्फ म्यूटेशन करके we have induced the mutation into the genome of haploid plant, and by inducing mutations we have find out the new trait, okay, new characteristics, like plants have become resistant to antibiotics by inducing mutation, then toxins, resistant to toxin, resistant to herbicides, okay, Herbicides are those chemicals which are used to remove away the weeds. Okay, they have been developed. So when haploid cells of tobacco plant, scientific name is Nicotiana tabacum, were exposed to methionine sulfamine, which is a mutagen, mutants which shows low level of infection to Pseudomonas tabaci were produced. ये रिसर्च में दिखाया गया है कि जब कोई हाप्लॉइड सेल टोबैको प्लांट का जो हाप्लॉइड सेल है हम लोग बनाए, मतलब साइंटिस्ट लोग बनाए हैं हाप्लॉइड प्लांट निकोशियाना टेबाकम का, तो वही हाप्लॉइड प्लांट का जो सेल है उसे म्यूटेशन किया गया बाय यूजिंग दिस केमिकल जिसका नाम है मिथियोनिन सल्फोक्सीमाइन। मिथियोनिन सल्फोक्सीमाइन, ये वाला मिथियोनिन सल्फोक्सीमाइन। तो एक्सपोज करने के बाद दैट सेल शोज, उस सेल से जब प्लांट बना गया, दैट सेल शोज लो लेवल ऑफ इन्फेक्शन टू Pseudomonas tabaci. Obviously mutation leads to evolution also, but it also leads to destruction. यहाँ पर हम लोग कोशिश कर रहे हैं टू इवॉल्व दैट पर्टिकुलर प्लांट। नेक्स्ट है प्रोडक्शन ऑफ डिजीज रेजिस्टेंट प्लांट, वही म्यूटेशन इंडक्शन कर ना। म्यूटेशन इंडक्शन दैट इज इंड्यूस म्यूटेशन कैन बी ऑफ डिफरेंट टाइप्स, वो तो बाद में हम लोग देखेंगे। Disease resistant genes can be introduced while producing haploids. Okay, so we can able to activate the disease resistant genes which will provide resistance against various disease. The so developed haploids are screened matlab to check that whether that particular haploid is capable of doing that resistance or not for that desired resistance, and then they are diploidized. तो फर्स्ट हम लोग क्या करते हैं, हम लोग स्क्रीनिंग करते हैं, हम लोग ऑब्ज़र्व करते हैं कि वाकई उसमें वही वो जीन प्रॉपर्टी है कि नहीं जो डिजीज़ रेजिस्टेंट कर सके। स्क्रीनिंग का बहुत तरीका होता है, लाइक वी कैन यूज़ अ स्मॉल डीएनए सीक्वेंस कॉल्ड प्राइमर यूज़ कर सकते हैं। प्राइमर में कुछ केमिकल्स या कोई फ्लोरोसेंट प्रोब्स रहता है जो कॉम्प्लीमेंट्री बेस पेयरिंग के ज़रिए उस जगह में ही बाइंड करेगा और हम लोग को शो करेगा विद द हेल्प ऑफ ऑटो रेडियोग्राफी। सो जस्ट लाइक वी हैव सीन इन एगारोजेल इलेक्ट्रोफोरेसिस, जस्ट लाइक दैट। सो यहाँ पर भी वही हम लोग स्क्रीन करेंगे, देखेंगे कि वाकई हम लोग का जो हैप्लॉइड प्लान है उसमें वो प्रॉपर्टी है कि नहीं। देन ओनली वी विल डिप्लोइडाइज देम, क्रोमोसोम डबलिंग करेंगे। देन सम एग्जांपल्स ऑफ डिजीज रेजिस्टेंस प्लान्स आर लिस्टेड। तो देखिए Huansambai, it is a rice variety resistant to leaf blast, bacterial leaf blight and rice strip tenui virus। तो ये डिफरेंट टाइप ऑफ डिजीज़ है, लीफ ब्लास्ट, ओके, लीफ ब्लास्ट, बैक्टीरियल लीफ ब्लाइट एंड राइस स्ट्राइप टेनुई वायरस। तो इससे अगेंस्ट रेजिस्टेंस करने के लिए एक राइस का वैरायटी बनाया गया है जिसका नाम है हुआनसैम्बाई। नेक्स्ट इज़ बार्ली एक्सेशन Q21681, इसका नाम नहीं दिया गया है, इसका जस्ट म्यूटेशन कोड दे दिया गया है, बार्ली एक्सेशन नंबर Q21681। एक्चुअली ये एक्सेशन नंबर प्रोवाइड करता है NCBI, जो कि तुम्हारा अमेरिका का एसोसिएशन होता है, ncbi.gov। ओके, ये NCBI एक्चुअली प्रोवाइड करता है, उस एक्सेस नंबर को प्रमोट करता है बाय क्लैरिफाइंग योर रिसर्च पेपर्स एंड फॉर ट्रूली ऑब्जर्वेशन दैट वेदर दे आर प्योरली कैपेबल ऑफ डूइंग नॉट। ये भी चेक करता है कि ये कोई कॉपी वाला है कि नहीं, ठीक है। So barley whose accession number is Q21681 are resistant to steam rust, leaf rust and powdery mildew। ये सब डिजीज़ है जो राइस प्लांट जो बार्ली प्लांट में हो सकता है। More examples of disease resistance crops are given in 45.1। Let us see the table। तो यहाँ पर देख सकते हो वीट का भी बनाया है। देखो वीट ट्राइटिकम्स एस्टिवम, इसका म्यूटेशन कर कर जो वैरायटी बनाया गया है फॉर प्रोवाइडिंग डिजीज रेजिस्टेंट लुंग हुआ वन, जिंग हुआ वन, जिंग हुआ टू, हुआ पी वन, फ्लोरिन, एम्बिटस, जिंग डैन, 2288, ये एक्सेशन नंबर है, 2288 इज द एक्सेशन नंबर। नाउ व्हाट डज दिस वैरायटी ऑफ वीट कैन डू? हाई यील्ड, रस्ट रेजिस्टेंस, रस्ट मीन्स ब्राउनिंग ऑफ द लीफ। गौर से अगर देखोगे प्लांट का जो लीफ होता है रस्ट हो जाता है, ब्राउनिश ब्राउनिश हो जाता है, जो उसको हम लीफ रस्ट कहते हैं। सो अगेंस्ट द रस्ट इट कैन प्रोवाइड रेजिस्टेंस। कोल्ड रेजिस्टेंस, ये तो मालूम ही होगा, ठंडे वेदर में भी ये ग्रो करेगा। लार्ज स्पाइक्स, मोर टीलर्स, मोर टीलर्स का मतलब, टीलर्स का मतलब ये इतना तक समझ लो, टीलर्स का मतलब यहाँ पर मोर, उसमें क्रॉप्स ज़्यादा सीड्स रहेगा। सेकेंड इज़ राइस, राइस का वैरायटी बहुत ज़्यादा है। ओराइजिया सैटिवा, इसका वैरायटी देखो, टैंग फोंग वन, जिंग ज्यू, जोंग हुआ 8, जोंग हुआ 9, हुआ यू 1, हुआ यू 2, हुआ पी, सैंग यू 63, जी केंग 66, टाबे 78, नोंग हुआ 5, हीरोन ही हीरो ही कैरी, हीरो होनामी, ये सब variety है। these are all varieties of rice which has been induced to mutation for providing disease resistance rice, high yield, good quality and disease resistance। फिर टोबैको का भी है, निकोशियाना टैबाकम का वैरायटी भी है जो मैं देख रहा हूँ यहाँ पर, टैंग यू 1, टैंग यू 2, ये सब वैरायटी है। एक नाम तो याद होगा ही, ये एक्चुअली इंडिया में बनाया था, ब्रासिका नेपस का वैरायटी, जय किसान। लो यूरिक एसिड, सॉरी नॉट यूरिक एसिड, लो इरूसिक एसिड, ओके। लो erucic acid, actually erucic acid can cause your myocardial libidosis। यहाँ पर मैं लिखा हूँ, इसमें यहाँ पे लिखा हुआ है, तुम लोग इंटरनेट में चेक कर सकते हो। सो यूरिसिक एसिड कैन कॉज मायोकार्डियल लिबिडोसिस, जो हार्ट का रिलेटेड है। ओके, सो ये तो वैरायटी हुआ। Now, not only disease resistance plant, we can also make such plant which are by inducing mutation, we can produce such type of variety of haploid plant which are insect resistance. So some variety of rice are resistant to insects are also have been developed, like Hua Cheon Bio, Hua Cheong Bio, resistance to brown plant hopper, एक तरह का ग्रास होपर है, छोटा छोटा, वो राइस क्रॉप को डैमेज करता है। सो हुआंग चेओंग बायो, ये एक वैरायटी है राइस का, दैट हैज़ बीन इंड्यूस्ड बाय म्यूटेशन टू प्रोवाइड रेजिस्टेंस अगेंस्ट दिस ब्राउन प्लांट हॉपर। अदर वैराइटीज़ ऑफ राइस दैट आर रेजिस्टेंस टू पेस्ट हैव ऑल्सो हैज़ बीन प्रोड्यूस। यहाँ पर ज़्यादातर नहीं बोला गया है, इतना तक ही बोला गया है। देन सॉल्ट टॉलरेंस प्लांट्स, सॉल्ट टॉलरेंस क्यों बता हो रहा है? क्योंकि कुछ जगह में सॉल्ट का क्वांटिटी बहुत ज़्यादा है, जैसे तुम लोग का कोस्टल एरियाज़ में ज़्यादा होता है सॉल्ट का क्वांटिटी। देन डेल्टा रीजन में, जैसे सुंदरबन में गंगा ब्रह्मपुत्र डेल्टा जो है, वहाँ पर भी बहुत ज़्यादा सॉल्ट है, तो वहाँ का जो प्लांट्स है वो एडाप्टेशन कर चुका है। जैसे मैंग्रोव ट्रीज़, उसका तो ऊपर का रूट्स ऊपर ऊपर में आता है फॉर रेस्पिरेशन प्रोसेस, ओके। लेकिन वहाँ पर अगर पीपल रहता है तो वहाँ पर क्रॉप्स कैसे ग्रो करेगा, इतना सॉल्ट कंटेंट ज़्यादा है उस सॉइल में। सो उसको वहाँ के लिए भी सॉल्ट टॉलरेंस प्लांट्स बनाया जा रहा है, ओके। सो प्लांट स्पीसीज विच सॉल्ट टॉलरेंस आर नीडेड फॉर कल्टिवेशन इन सम एरियाज। Anther cultures have resulted in some varieties of rice and wheat विथ गुड सॉल्ट टॉलरेंस। जैसे वीट का हुआ बेइन 124.4, ये एक्सेशन नंबर है, ये बनाया गया है फॉर सॉल्ट टॉलरेंस। और लास्ट में साइटोजेनेटिक रिसर्च पर्पस के लिए ही मेनली ये हैप्लॉइड प्लान बना जाता है। सो हैप्लॉइड आर यूजफुल इन सेवरल एरियाज ऑफ साइटोजेनेटिक रिसर्च। साइटो मीन्स सेल का बेसिस में, साइटोजेनेटिक मतलब सेल के अंदर जो जेनेटिक मटेरियल कंटेंट है उसका स्टडी करने के लिए ही हम लोग साइटोजेनेटिक्स कहते हैं। सो हैप्लॉइड्स आर यूजफुल इन सेवरल एरियाज ऑफ साइटोजेनेटिक रिसर्च which includes production of aneuploids, then determination of the nature of ploidy, मतलब किस स्टेट में है, किस प्लॉइडी लेवल में है, पॉलीप्लॉइडी में है या मोनोप्लॉइडी में है। ओके, प्लॉइडी मीन्स नंबर ऑफ सेट ऑफ क्रोमोजोम्स, राइट, ये जेनेटिक्स में हम लोग पढ़े हैं। डिटर्मिनेशन ऑफ बेसिक क्रोमोजोम नंबर एंड इवोल्यूशन ऑफ ऑरिजिन ऑफ क्रोमोजोम्स। फिर और भी है, जैसे इंडक्शन ऑफ जेनेटिक वेरिएबिलिटी, हम लोग म्यूटेशन कर रहे हैं, उसका तो बेस पेयर चेंज हो रहा है। सो बिसाइड्स द डेवलपमेंट ऑफ हैप्लॉइड म्यूटेंट्स, इट इज़ ऑल्सो पॉसिबल टू प्रोड्यूस प्लांट्स विद वेरियस प्लॉइडी लेवल्स थ्रू एंड्रोजेनेसिस। सो एंड्रोजेनेसिस के करने के बाद जब हम लोग हैप्लॉइड प्लांट बनाते हैं तो आफ्टर दैट वी इंड्यूस पॉलीप्लॉइडी बाय यूजिंग ट्रीटमेंट ऑफ केमिकल्स। ओके, जैसे हम लोग यहाँ पर कॉल्चिसिन यूज़ किया है फॉर डिप्लोडाइजेशन। अब वही डिप्लॉयड सेल को अगर फिर से हम लोग कॉल्चिसिन ट्रीटमेंट करते हैं तो पॉलीप्लॉइडी लेवल हो सकता है। डबल्ड हैप्लॉइड्स इन जेनोम मैपिंग, जेनोम मैपिंग के लिए भी बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट है। ओके, एंड लास्ट इवोल्यूशन स्टडीज़ में भी यूज़ होता है। ओके, सो now I will try to say about the limitation of the haploid plant. Haploid plant का भी limitation होता है, let us see. First, the frequency of haploid plant is very low. haploid plant से अगर homozygous line बढ़ना चाहते हैं तो उसका frequency बहुत ही कम है। okay, and hence the selection is often very difficult. Operation of tissue culture to develop haploid require high level expertise and management. जो टिश्यू कल्चर में हम लोग यूज़ करेंगे हैप्लॉइड प्लांट प्रोडक्शन करने के लिए, वो वहाँ का जो इंस्ट्रूमेंट्स रहेगा हाईली एक्यूरेट होना चाहिए, एक्सपर्टाइज पीपल होना चाहिए, एंड द मैनेजमेंट हैज़ टू बी प्रॉपरली मेंटेन्ड। ओके, प्रॉपर मैनेजमेंट भी चाहिए, अदरवाइज यू कैनॉट एबल टू ग्रो, there will be loss, okay, for haploid plant production. Beside haploid, different ploidy levels are also produced, बिकॉज यहाँ पर सिर्फ हाप्लॉइड नहीं, हम लोग डिफरेंट प्लॉइडी लेवल्स भी ग्रो कर रहे हैं, जैसे मोनोप्लॉइड जो कि एन है, देन पॉलीप्लॉइड, पॉलीप्लॉइड मतलब मोर देन 2 सेट्स ऑफ क्रोमोसोम, जैसे ट्राइप्लॉइड, टेट्राप्लॉइड, पेंटाप्लॉइड, वेयर एन इज़ द नंबर ऑफ सेट्स ऑफ क्रोमोसोम। इनका मतलब क्या है, नंबर ऑफ सेट्स ऑफ क्रोमोसोम्स, राइट, नंबर ऑफ सेट्स ऑफ क्रोमोसोम्स। तो ये अच्छा भी है बुरा भी है। हैप्लॉइड विद डिलीटेरियस ट्रेट्स फ्रीक्वेंटली डेवलप इन कल्चर, जो हैप्लॉइड प्लांट का कोई डिलीशन हो चुका है, कुछ पार्ट डिलीशन, मतलब सपोज पर्टिकुलर सेगमेंट में डिलीट हो चुका है, रिमूव हो चुका है, सेगमेंट ऑफ क्रोमोसोम हैज़ बीन रिमूव्ड, so that type of deleterious trait are frequently developed in culture. Callus derived from anther culture is usually detrimental to haploid production. अगर सपोज वुंडेड कैलस हो गया, ओके, फॉर वुंडेड कैलस ग्रो कर गया तो वुंडेड कैलस से तुम्हारा नॉर्मल प्लांट हो जाएगा, हैप्लॉइड प्लांट नहीं होगा। Isolation of haploid from cultures is often difficult since polyploid outgrow haploids. पॉलीप्लॉइड्स हमेशा हैप्लॉइड्स के आसपास ही ग्रो करेगा, बट पूरा की पूरा हैप्लॉइड प्लांट पॉलीप्लॉइडी लेवल नहीं हो सकता। हैप्लॉइड प्रोडक्शन इज एसोसिएशन विथ हाई इंसिडेंस ऑफ एल्बाइनो कलरलेस प्लांट। ये देखा गया है नॉर्मली जब हम लोग कल्चर करते हैं हाप्लॉइड प्लांट जब हम कल्चर करते हैं तो जो उसका लीव्स का पैटर्न होता है वो एल्बाइनो हो जाता है, दैट मीन्स कलरलेस लीव्स। और कलरलेस लीव्स मतलब उसका फोटोसिंथेसिस रेट भी कम हो जाएगा, इसलिए उसका वायबिलिटी भी कम हो जाएगा, और वो लीथल भी हो सकता है। मतलब प्लांट जब हम लोग सॉइल में ग्रो करेंगे ड्यूरिंग द हार्डनिंग स्टेज, जिस जो माइक्रोपोसन का स्टेज होता है हार्डनिंग स्टेज, एक सॉइल स्टेज में रखते हैं ग्रीन हाउस के अंदर, तब हो सकता है ये प्लांट ना ग्रो कर पाए बिकॉज ऑफ एल्बाइनो कंडीशन। एंड डबलिंग ऑफ हाप्लॉइड it may not always lead to homozygous plant। हमेशा ये नहीं हो सकता कि हाप्लॉइड को डबलिंग करने से होमोजाइगस प्लांट हो जाएगा। थियोरेटिकली इट इज़ वेरी इजी टू से हेयर बाय यूजिंग कॉल्जिसिन, हम लोग थियोरेटिकली हम लोग एक्सप्लेन किए, बट प्रैक्टिकली इट हैज़ बीन ऑब्जर्व दैट doubling of the haploids may not always leads to the formation of homozygous plant। And lastly, in vitro haploid production, it is not economically viable due to very low success rate। so economically इतना एक्टिव नहीं है यहाँ पर, उतना ज़्यादा ध्यान नहीं दिया जाता। दे आर नॉट, दे आर पीपल्स आर नॉट कंसर्न अबाउट मे ऑफ making that infrastructure for the haploid plant culture because it is has a very low success rate and very expert are needed actually। तो ये एक्चुअली इतना क्या बोलो, इतना महत्व, इतना इम्पोर्टेंस नहीं दिया गया है अभी तक। ओके, so this was all about the haploid plant production, the anther and the pollen culture। okay, I will send this video soonly। next day I will try to explain about another important part from your plant tissue culture। okay,